All right, so in today's session, we will be covering on British print media. Okay, so it will be an introductory class for you guys on British newspapers and magazines. So if you happen to be in the UK, then you can expect to find these print materials uh, in there. Okay, so when we're done with this section, this topic, um, you can complete the assignment 4 or the assignment under topic 4. Okay, so last time I think I mentioned to put that assignment, that particular assignment, on hold because you guys didn't I had not covered that assignment yet. So it was writing about British media, your exposure to British media and music. So when you're done with this, when you're done with this session today, then you can basically attempt to solve that assignment. Okay, so let me make it clear to you guys. Okay, so this is I mean, from my end, I basically see this, your course on your LMS like this, okay? So for topic 4, so there's like an assignment here called like personal experience with British media, okay? So when this assignment was posted by the module leader, at that time, you guys have not been, at that time, you guys were not taught about the British media, print media or music, okay? So I thought it was kind of like unfair to have you guys do that assignment without having to actually cover that assignment, the topic, okay? So now I think you guys are ready for it. So this time I have mentioned this one here, okay? So this is for you guys. So you guys are section D, okay? So you'll be comparing and contrasting British media with Nepali media. So you can compare like British television with Nepali television if you can find similar programs here in our country, and also do the same thing for any like a television, for radio, British like print media. You might have to do a little more research. Okay, you will get the names from this session, but to basically see what things are included in those magazines or newspapers, you can search them online, and maybe you may be able to read them, if not like today's edition, maybe in like an archive form. Okay, so just do some research and then do some comparison between British like media and Nepali media. So the word wise, all I'm looking for is minimum like 300 words, 300, 500 words. Okay, so that's what I'm looking for. All right, and if any of you guys need to give your presentation, you guys can do that after we're done with this short topic, okay, on British media, print media. Okay, if there's no question, let's move forward with today's lecture session. Okay, so as mentioned, today's session is going to be an introduction for you guys on British print media. Okay, so we'll be looking at British newspapers as well as British magazines. All right. So basically, for newspaper in the UK, so there are like daily newspapers which comes out every, let's say, every morning, or there are newspapers that come out every evening as well. Okay, so these newspapers can be national newspapers. So if you happen to be anywhere in the UK, let's say in the Wales or Scotland, Northern Ireland, in Britain, you will be able to find these newspapers at the newsstand. Okay, so there are altogether 12 national daily newspapers that comes out every day. Okay, 12 altogether in the United Kingdom. Okay, some of the examples of UK daily newspapers are The Sun, Daily Mail, Daily Mirror, and there are a few more to that. Okay, so beyond the national, like a newspaper, so these are like tier one, like first tier newspapers. Okay, daily newspapers. The second tier newspapers are published like regionally. Okay, typically within a city. Okay, but if that newspaper happens to be popular, then you may be able to find them like a little like maybe outside the city as well. Okay, so these are regional newspapers. So think of regional newspapers as published within a city. Okay, so for examples of regional newspapers would be Cambridge News, like Manchester, Evening News, Liverpool Echo, etc. Okay, so there are like many cities in the UK. So you'll be able to find many regional newspapers. So 12 national newspapers that are published nationally throughout the UK. Okay, you'll be able to find them. So regional, like more like like a city-wide newspaper. Okay, so in comparison to national newspapers, you'll be able to find many regional newspapers. Okay, the third tier or third tier newspaper would be the local newspapers. Okay, so these would be like in uh, like when we compare it geographically, it would be like more like per county, like a newspaper. Okay, so in a city, there will be many counties there. So if for your simplicity, if I have to compare with what we have in Nepal, so we can compare like counties like wards in Nepal. Okay, so we have like Ward 1, Ward 2, Ward 3. Geographically, a city may be divided like that, right? So in the UK, definitely in the US, the city would be divided in counties. Okay, so each county may have their own local newspapers. Okay, so they're like they're even like smaller than a city. Okay, so these are local newspapers. Okay, for example, Cambridge Independent. Maybe I have not read this newspaper, but I would assume it's published by somewhere in the city of Cambridge, right? Within the city of Cambridge. So in terms of like the readers also, you won't be like if you happen to be, let's say, in Oxford or let's say in Manchester, you may not be able to find the local newspapers of, let's say, Cambridge or Liverpool, right? So it would be like that. So three-tier newspapers: national, regional, and local newspapers. Okay, so you may have to be in that locality in order to find that local newspaper. Okay, but national, you can find it anywhere in the UK. All right, so apart from the daily newspapers, there are also Sunday newspapers in the UK, and Sunday newspapers are equally popular amongst the people in the UK. Okay, and there are a total of 11 Sunday newspapers that comes out every Sunday, of course, in the UK. All right, examples of Sunday newspapers are Sunday Times, Sunday Mirror, etc. Okay, 11 altogether. All right. So apart from the daily and Sunday newspapers, you can also find tabloids. Okay. So these are the daily like newspapers, but tabloids, they are different in terms of the size difference. Okay. So a regular newspaper would be a bigger in size. Tabloid newspaper would be almost like a half the size of what you would consider like a newspaper, right? Okay. So tabloid, just consider it like a small version of newspapers that may be published every day or that may be published every Sunday. So typically when we say tabloid, they're typically published in the evenings. All right. So examples of tabloids that you'll be able to find in the UK are Daily Mail, Sunday Express, Daily Express, etc. Okay. So among these three examples, two are published every day and one is published every Sunday. All right. So these are the classification of newspapers in the UK. So anybody has any exposure, like happen to read any of the newspapers in the UK? These days, again, you can find these newspapers online. If you search them, even they have their own websites, and you may be able to read the articles published in these newspapers through online. So anybody has any exposure to that from this section? So from the other section, a few of the students, they said they have read I think it was like a Daily Mail and some other magazine. But from this section, anybody has read any British newspaper or any daily newspaper, Sunday newspaper? All right, that's fine. Now that you know the names, maybe you can do some research. Okay. Again, you may be able to find the archive version of these newspapers. That means that you may not be able to find those the same day and the newspapers the same day, but these newspapers may be available. Let's say you may be able to read yesterday's newspapers or last week's newspaper today. All right. So if you are interested, what's the format of the newspaper, what sort of articles you can find there. Especially if you are interested in English language learning. Okay. So you may be wondering, okay, how are the articles different from, let's say, the local newspapers here you can find in Nepal? Okay. So maybe you can do some comparison as well. So definitely for your homework assignment after we're done with this course, I would expect you guys to do some research. All right, comparing Nepali print media with the print media that's available in the UK. All right, so size-wise, okay, typically there are two different newspaper sizes in the UK. The first is the broadsheet, okay? So these are the large-size newspapers. Okay, so if you happen to hold these newspaper, so if you're reading from one page to another, your head would be moving from really literally from left to right. Okay, so these newspapers are of the size of 23 and a half inches by 29 and a half inches. Okay, that's just the one sheet of paper. So if you unfold it into two halves, okay, then it will be like twice the size, right? So if we were to compare it with let's say our newspaper, daily newspaper, Nepali daily newspaper. So for example, Gorkhapatra, right? So Gorkhapatra daily newspaper is 13.6 inches by 21 inches. Okay, so if you put like a Gorkhapatra on one side and let's say the Daily Telegraph or the Independent on one side, it would be like almost like twice the size of our regular newspaper. Okay, so you can just imagine how big would that like a broadsheet newspaper would be. Okay, so examples of broadsheet newspapers are Daily Telegraph, Daily Express, and of course the Independent that you can see on the slide. Okay, so another like a format of newspaper that you will be able to find in the UK would be tabloids or tabloids paper. Okay, so these are 11 inches by 16, almost like 17 inches in dimension. Okay, so you can find on the slide there a tabloid paper next to a broadsheet paper. All right, it's like looks kind of tiny, right? Okay, so examples would be Daily Mail, Daily Star, Daily Mirror, etc. Okay. So if you have any comment, let me. You can speak. All right. Or you can comment on the comment section as well. Okay, so this is a list of top 10 daily newspapers in the UK. So this was taken. So this study was done in 2012. Okay, so one thing that you guys need to be aware about the print media is that the readership has been declining each year, year after year. These print medias are seeing like less and less readers. Okay, and the main factor, the main reason being that people these days are more, they are reading more and more online. Okay, so if you just searching for like let's say there are many news portals online where you can read about daily incidents or news, right? And like online news, like portals, they update frequently. Okay, you don't have to wait for the next day. Unlike regular newspapers, okay, there's like a certain time lag there. Okay, so there are many reasons, and because of these reasons, the number of people like subscribing to traditional like paper newspapers have been decreasing, not only in the UK but also in the United States and in many parts of the world. Okay, especially those areas where the people's reach to like technology has is great. Okay, in those parts, paper like media is a has seen decline year after year. Okay, so according to 2012 figure, okay, the Sun is the most subscribed daily newspaper in the UK with almost like 3 million subscribers. Okay, followed by other daily newspapers here, Daily Mail with almost 2 million subscribers, Daily Mirror with almost 1 million subscribers, and so on and so forth. So when we covered on like different aspects of Great Britain, UK last time, right? We compared on different aspects about Great Britain and Nepal. We compared on geography, like a landmass size. We also compared on, I think, like population, right? We looked at the education system between in the UK, and also, you guys have more information about the education system in Nepal. So we saw some similarities there, okay? And also we saw like that the population and the landmass between the UK and Nepal, it's not significantly different. Okay. However, the GDP of the UK was significantly different, significantly greater than that of Nepal. Okay. And if we were to compare between the readership of like any like a print media, I think we would find that people in the UK generally read more. Okay. So that has been reflected by the number of subscribers for different magazines. Okay, so you can just see how much like people in Great Britain or people in the UK love reading. Okay, so this is the figure for the daily newspapers. Okay, so there's like another just like a study for the Sunday newspapers. Okay, the Sunday publishing newspapers, and the top one, the number one being the Daily Mail. Okay, with almost 2 million subscribers, and so on and so forth. Okay. So maybe for your next assignment, you can look at like what's the you have like different newspapers here, like a Kantipur Daily, Gorkhapatra Daily, like you have Himalayan Times English paper, Kathmandu Post, right? So maybe if you can find the data, but I don't know if you can or cannot. If you can, then maybe you can put that data in your report as well. Okay, so you have this data for the English or the UK newspapers. So when you're comparing it, if available, you can put those data for Nepali newspapers as well. Okay, see if the subscribers are kind of like similar, or the subscribers in the UK are like vastly greater than that of Nepal, or maybe I don't know. You can do some research on that. Yeah, let's see. Okay, so let's move on to the magazines in the UK. Okay, so these are basically, it could be the weekly magazine that are published every week, or it could be monthly magazine. Okay, so altogether there are more than 7,000 different periodicals. Okay, when we say periodicals, it includes like magazines, it includes newspapers. Okay, anything that comes out like on regular intervals. Okay, they're called periodicals. Okay, so in terms of like for the magazines can be classified as general consumer interest. So these type of magazines would be of interest to anyone. Okay, they would not be basically only catered towards, let's say, specific group of people. So these are for everyone. All right, in a sense. So for example, National Geographic. So anyone would may be interested in reading National Geographic. Right? Okay, magazine. Okay, you may have heard about it, pretty popular, not only in the United Kingdom, but also in the US as well. Okay, so these are general consumer interest magazines. So the other type of magazines would be the special interest magazines. So these are the magazines that are dedicated to special, like a group of people. For example, if people are interested in, for those gamers who play PlayStations, right? There's magazine for them, PlayStation UK. If you happen to have like interest in, let's say, gardening, there's like a magazine for you. Okay, if you are interested in like a vehicles, cars, like auto car maybe for you. Okay, and also there's like I think the BBC also publishes like their own like a regular magazines. Okay, apart from that, apart from their TV and radio. Okay, and a magazine may also be catered for those people who are interested in business. Okay, so I think Forbes magazine pretty popular throughout the world. Okay, Business Review, Insurance Business, etc. Okay, so these are magazines that basically contains articles about business, related to business, and basically anything business. Okay. All right, so let's look at some of the popular weekly magazines that you will be able to find in the UK. All right, so if you happen to be in the UK, and if you happen to stand before a newsstand, then these are some of the magazines that could be in front of you. All right, so for weekly magazines, What's on TV is the #1 subscribed magazine. Okay, so by the name of it, I would assume it has anything to do with TV, like channels, right? So it may be like TV schedules, interviews on, let's say, celebrities or TV, characters and so on and so forth. So another would be, so the second one, the second, like a highest read weekly magazine, it's Radio Times. I would assume it's similar to or equivalent to radio. What's on TV? Okay, this one was for the radio. Okay, so some of these magazines are basically, I think, I'm not sure, but may be available to customers for free. Okay, that could be the reason why these are like mostly read or mostly subscribed magazines, right? So some of these magazines could be supported through ads. So they put the ads and subsidized to their customers. All right. Okay. All right. So and here's a list of 10 like highest read monthly magazines. Okay. So whenever you see like Sky there, you can basically this published by the Sky company that also kind of like has TV channels like Sky Sports, Sky News, right? As well as it could have like radio stations as well. So these are published by that company, Sky Magazine. Okay, monthly magazine read by like 7.5 million people. Okay, so for your assignments, just look at the names, okay, and do some search for them for those names. Okay, if you can find any like addition, okay, go through it, and if you know any like equivalent Nepali magazine, you can do some comparison. Okay, so you don't have to do a lot of like extensive research for your next assignment. Okay, just look at it and just look for any similarities, any differences. Okay, that's all I'm looking for. Okay. All right, so other periodicals that's pretty popular in the UK would be Radio Times. The Cube magazine is pretty popular throughout the world as well. You may be even able to find, if you go like and look for these some of these magazines, you may be able to find them in Kathmandu. For example, Forbes, it's available. Okay, so Q magazine may be available here. Okay, so definitely I would suggest like at least do some online search, and if you find it, then you can read it for free rather than paying for it.